There are places on Earth where reality and dreams mingle in a dimension called myth. There are places that hide secrets and they keep them for centuries. In a land of wind and desert sand, there is a treasure believed to be lost forever and now ready to surface from the ashes of time. This is the story of a man and a legend. This is the story of Ahmed and the return of the Arab phoenix. Syria, an isolated part of the world with a 1,000-year-old history. A historical stage for the first steps of human civilization. The depth of its past witnessed the birth of what we now call history. Here, it seems as if everything happened for the first time. An overwhelming place. Colors, sounds, smells. Everything speaks a different language here in the Middle East. After all, this is the gate to Asia. And not only for humans. This land is a crucial crossroad for a multitude of birds undertaking their annual migrations. This is a birdwatcher's paradise. My story starts in Palmyra, a sleepy village not far from the Euphrates River and the Iraqi border. It was a strategic city on the Silk Road and a meeting point for cultures, ideas and people. Nowadays, Palmyra is a little more than a dot on a road map, but it is still a place of great charm and intriguing mysteries. And in Syria, land of 1,000 veils, mysteries come to life where the sun meets the wind of the desert. And it was there that I met Ahmed.
You know, I was born in the desert, and when I appear at that time, I see the desert in my mother, so the desert in my blood. And I was shepherd. It's very, very hard life, but what shall I do? That's my life, and I have to accept it.
Ahmed is a Bedouin who belongs to the Beni Khaled tribe. He's bursting with intelligence and, being a man of the desert, knows every single valley around Palmyra. But I was really surprised when he revealed to me that he worked for the protection of the environment. In the Middle East. Yes. And moreover, Ahmed is the keeper of a secret. Only a few decades ago, Badia, the Syrian desert steppe, was a different place where vegetation grew lush and animals roamed abundantly. The mosaics from the Roman period on display in the Damascus National Museum unveil the evidence of a seemingly improbable past, once steeped in rich wilderness. But now the experts agree that Badia is quickly reaching an ecological collapse.
Questo processo di distruzione è avvenuto negli ultimi 20 anni. In questo periodo di tempo si sono perse una quantità di specie animali abbastanza significativa.
I knew I hadn't arrived in a lost paradise, but I hoped that the vastness of the sea of rocks surrounding me, that the 1,000-year-old wisdom of the wind and the desert, if not the wisdom of the people, had preserved the heart of Badia intact. Was I wrong? Maybe. But sometimes diamonds shine in the dark. Sometimes the Middle East, enchanted land, can keep its treasures. Sometimes from the fire of myth, legends take wing. Well, this time the legend has a face that only a mother could love, a bird of peculiar charm that was supposed to have been extinct in Syria and now reborn from its own ashes, the Arab phoenix of the desert.
Il culmine, diciamo, di questo lavoro, 3 anni di sopralluoghi e esplorazione del deserto, è stata la scoperta di questo uccello molto raro che è l'ibis calvo, che è classificato come minacciato di estinzione dalla IUCN, che è un'autorità internazionale in materia di conservazione, perché vuol dire che le possibilità che divenga estinto nel breve termine sono altissime.
The Bald Ibis, al-Nug in Arabic, reappeared in the mountains of Syria in 2002. Maybe because of its peculiar look and elusive behavior, al-Nug, a symbol of wisdom for the Bedouins, became an icon of the desert. In the last few years, like clockwork, they returned to Syria during spring, find a partner and a suitable place for nesting, raise up to 4 chicks, and vanish again in summer. The ibises, as a zoological group, are aquatic birds, and they never leave the proximity of water. Al-Nug instead has adapted perfectly to life in the desert. With its long bill, it probes the underground burrows, hunting a number of insects and scorpions of which I didn't even suspect the presence. Once Al-Nug was distributed in Europe, Africa, Asia Minor and the Middle East, but slowly the changes to its habitat brought it almost to the brink of extinction. Like here in Syria, where only 6 bald ibises are left, and one of their most important nesting sites had been used in the past as a shooting range for the artillery.
The problem of the desert, the people increasing. They're also using the natural resources with an unsustainable way. And also overgrazing. A lot of sheep, they eating the plants, so they make the soil is weak. So this situation helps the erosion.
Obviously, around here, something crucial is changing if a 1,000-year-old activity like raising sheep is becoming responsible for wiping out the vegetation of the steppe, and as a consequence, the insects feeding on it, in a domino effect, reaching all levels of the food chain. Whatever the reason, it certainly represents a real threat for the desert's ecology and for Al-Nug, a piece of the mosaic of Badia that is risking a death sentence. But for its conservation, action is about to be taken. Gianluca Serra, the founder of the Syrian Bald Ibis project, decided to keep around-the-clock watch on the birds' nesting sites. He cannot afford even the slightest mistake. Therefore, his team will build a permanent observation point about 2 kilometers from the nests, where a pair of rangers will be on permanent watch. Building a tent is an easy matter for the Bedouins, and the job is done in a blink of an eye. Well, more or less. In a couple of hours, the tent is ready to quarter the surveillance team. Whoever tries to get close to the nests will be sent away. The ibises don't know it, but now their survival probabilities, while in Badia, have just increased. But it is not gonna be easy. The illnesses of the desert have deep roots.
And also there is a big problem which called shrubs uprooting. What the shrubs uprooting? The shrubs uprooting alive shrubs collection for heating and also cooking. And also the people are more than invest and the shrubs are limited. The value of these plants, it's in the roots. And so that's why they cut it very deep. It's gonna be very, very big problem. And also when we took these shrubs, it's take a lot of years to grow up again.
Overpopulation. This is one of the illnesses of Badia. More people, more sheep, more firewood. And the steppe is being stripped to barren soil. A tea offered to a guest, one of the pillars of Bedouin culture, is now one of the causes of Badia's ecological decline. These traditional, thousand-year-old activities of the Bedouins have quickly become ecologically unsustainable thanks to a deadly cocktail of processes like the replacement of the traditional system of using pastures with a free and indiscriminate one of the highest demographic growth rates in the world, technological progress, 30 years of political isolation, and the consequent low ecological awareness at all levels of the society. Trying to stop the gradual and incessant destruction of Badia's biodiversity is a challenge that will be difficult even to take up. But the discovery of Al-Nuq, the Bald Ibis, reborn from the ashes of its extinction, represents the symbol of a possible redemption for the ecology of the region. And it is in the hands of people like Ahmed that lies the future of Badia.
Since the beginning of our project, we were succeed to involve some very dangerous hunters as a worker with us and work for us.
Only 3 years ago, Ahmed was one of the most authoritative and enthusiastic hunters of Palmyra. Today, he dreams of setting up his own bird-watching company. He's very active in the Bald Ibis protection program, and, incredible though it may seem, he is very much involved in controlling hunting in Syria.
When I met Jallouka first time, he asked me about the birds in our area, and including the Bald Ibis. I assured him we have this bird, but very few. But he asked me, how do you know exactly this bird, maybe another bird? I said, actually I killed one. I caught it in my hand.
Now, if I go for a walk in the desert, surely I don't expect to find a hunter crouching behind every rock. But it takes very little to understand that despite persons like Ahmed, there is still a long way to go. The desert, this huge universe I'm getting to understand, has been slowly unveiling its secrets, and I have discovered an ancient world overwhelmed by that kind of modernity to which it cannot adapt. And I met people slowly and indifferently living their lives among the folds of history. I always believed that as long as the desert existed, nothing would have changed. Now I have the sharp feeling of being one of the last witnesses of a quickly declining world. Yes, the same old story. But here, at least in the summer, the Bald Ibis is still present on the magnificent stage of Badia. But where do they go in winter? they disappear from Badia for 6 months and reach their mysterious wintering grounds. Lubomir Pesce must catch at least 2 of them to install on their backs a radio transmitter connected to a complex satellite pinning system that will allow the birds to be localized wherever they are. Lubomir is a wizard of satellite telemetry.
I must say that this is the last group of birds that they know where to migrate, and they migrated somewhere to Red Sea, but now probably if these 6 birds will die, this information will be lost forever.
Discovering the wintering grounds of the ibises is therefore crucial to finalize the conservation program of the species.
Our protection here in the breeding areas is not sufficient. We need to know where they are going and also try to protect them during the second half of the year, during the winter.
But in order to tag them, they first must be cocked. Gianluca's team has built some artificial ponds in the area where the ibises are feeding, a hidden valley around 50 kilometers from Palmyra. These simple ponds may play a crucial role in the success of the tagging operation. Hopefully, the birds will start using them, and then, with luck, they will be cocked while they are drinking. Meanwhile, Lubomir is setting an astonishingly complex trap made of wires, levers, rods, lines, and remotely controlled by an electric device. It reminds me of Wile E. Coyote messing around with a roadrunner. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't believe what he managed to put together.
We are ready to trap those animals. I think that we developed trap, and these birds are already going and visiting every day, regularly visiting drinking point. And so if we install our trap close to this drinking point, we certainly can catch them.
Obviously, the ibises are wondering about Badia as free as birds, and it is impossible to even think of protecting them without the help of the nomads of the desert.
If I was the manager of this reserve, I would like to involve a local community people to make them feel or responsible by their biodiversity. Step by step, I think it will be great work. But if we are taking them away and don't care about them, they will use their cultural resources with a sustainable way just to make them more funded, because it's happened, and I know it happened.
And the living proof that even here things can change is Al-Nuk, the Bald Ibis, the symbol of the effort these men are putting into saving what is left of Badia's natural heritage.
Well, the ibis are critically endangered. They are very few and also very hard to protect them, even in Syria here. But we are doing our best to protect them, and we will succeed, inshallah.
Eventually, 4 ibises were tagged. 2 years after, I was in Badia. Many things have changed. Really many things. Because of the lack of state funds, Ahmed almost lost his job, and the ibis protection program slowed down dramatically. It looked like the end of all hope for the colony. Yet, in 2006, Gianluca performed a small miracle, and after 4 years of monitoring, his team finally found the piece of the puzzle they had been searching for: Al-Nuk's winter refuge, 1,700 miles away, tucked high in the remote mountains of Ethiopia. And this information could truly be the beginning for the rebirth of the Arab phoenix. Maybe it is only a drop in the ocean, but this discovery represents the future of Ahmed's world.
For my children, I would like to get a better life, more education, and keeping their traditional Bedouin culture, with some love for the nature, the wildlife.
Syria is not only a land of wind and desert sand. Among its treasures, there is a group of strong and determined people that are still fighting their battle in the desert against the mirages of unsustainable development. Their dream is to turn Badia back into what it used to be, an enchanted land, certainly tough and harsh, where animals and men may live together again according to their ancient ecological rules. As every year, at the beginning of July, the little tribe of the Ibises disappeared beyond the horizon, taking once more some of their secrets with them. Their survival and the survival of Badia will depend upon a handful of visionary men who have learned to interpret the spirit of the desert, that unforgettable desert surrounding the old ruins of Palmyra's oasis.